So recently me and my homies got into D&D or Dungeons and Dragons, and it's been pretty fun, but I'm gonna be honest, we really don't play Dungeons and Dragons right. We kind of do an anime version of it, and actually I have some content of that on a different channel, but don't worry about that right now. That's not why I'm talking about it. So I actually started playing something called Baldurs Gate, and it's absolutely fun, and I've been wasting my life away on this. And there's a class called Barbarian that can basically use a controlled rage. And this made me think immediately in my head, who has insane rage, absolutely insane rage, in Dragon Ball that makes him extremely powerful and practically unlimitless potential? Well, Broly, obviously. Now, I was thinking, what would have happened if Broly could actually control his rage? We all know as a young child, he was sent off to a different planet by the name of Vampa with his father Paragus, or his father Paragus would be sent, or would send himself quickly behind. And what would have happened if Broly, the power level of 10,000 baby, actually could control his rage? Well, let's start with the world of Vampa, or the planet of Vampa. Vampa was a very scary planet. It's full of threats, full of things that could kill you, and we've seen that even Broly was able to handle it. But what if Broly actually was able to handle it far easier, and was able to actually handle it with power that was dormant within him all the way up until 10,000? In my opinion, being a power level of 10,000 makes you easily a planet buster, so Broly at a young age would be able to handle whatever is on Vampa and actually be able to train whenever and however he wants. His father Paragus, of course, would be pretty scared of the power that Broly would show, but it is his son. He wants to nurture and cherish him. Now, this version of Broly would be more innocent, or would be innocent just like in canon, but just on the contrary, doesn't have that crazy, unrelenting rage like a barbarian. Now, he would be able to control this rage with time, but still, he would kind of be more of a light-hearted person. Yes, he would get angry at certain times and his power level would skyrocket, but that version of him doesn't lose control. That version of him doesn't lose his mind when he reaches insane amounts of power. This time around, Broly just has to unleash ki blasts and so on and so forth to keep his energy in check. Now, this is a little bit inconvenient from time to time, especially when he gets older, but still, in terms of the planet Vampa, it is very easy for them to kind of survive. Now, in my opinion, Broly and Paragus would eventually get off of Vampa, even if it is a lot longer than you would normally expect. Broly would have to be somewhere near an adult in terms of just being able to be strong enough to actually be able to control his power enough to maintain a barrier both around Paragus and himself. But in doing so, they're able to fly through the cosmos, and when doing this, they actually go to a different planet. Maybe a different planet that would allow them to kind of settle and not be as kind of in a dangerous spot. Now, in terms of the planet that you believe they would go to, it could be any. It could be absolutely any planet, in my opinion. Shoot, it could be something like Yardrat, it could be something like Namek, or it could be some offshore planet where they could just live their life normally. Because at this point, at least in my opinion, Paragus would obviously want revenge on Vegeta, or King Vegeta more specifically, and then obviously when he knows that King Vegeta is dead, he wants revenge on the prince, but he believes there's no point in rushing anything. He doesn't believe there's any point in rushing off to some unknown place he doesn't understand or doesn't know and try to kill him, at least using Broly. But Broly is such a simple and actually calm-minded person that he actually doesn't have any vengeance on his mind. Of course, he does want to please his father, but throughout this time, he would tell his father that everything worked out for the best, and he wishes that they could just live a happy and suitable life. And that's exactly what would occur. They would live a happy and suitable life. Broly utilizing his rage and being able to control it would obviously be something super powerful, but with the calm mindset that Broly has and the rage not being able to be utilized as kind of like a mind control type of tactic of Paragus, he'll have no choice in the regard of Broly saying saying what he wants, and as that turns is what goes. So at the end of the day, Broly would kind of live a normal life, maybe somewhere on Yardrat, maybe even something like a Namek that was wished back, and Broly and Paragus would know nothing about it. Now, with all that said, would they really even do anything in the story, at least that much? Probably not. Now, I hate to say that, but that's probably the truth about it, because Broly isn't the type of person that even wants to get involved in anything, and he probably just hang out on a different planet, like I said, if that's Namek, Yardrat, or something else, until eventually Dragon Ball Super. Now, could I see them stumbling into Broly at one point or another? Maybe if he gets to a so-called Namek in the Buu saga, we actually see kind of a situation where they know who Broly is, know where he's at, or so on and so forth. Maybe even a Cell saga where Goku teleports or instant transmissions to Namek to get Dende, and who's there? Well, Broly's there. Now, I could see a different version or two different versions may be going that way, but in terms of just the Broly that we know, at least the canon Broly, I don't really see him being involved in really any of the Z or most of the Super storyline. Now, with all that said, let's talk about when Frieza would come on by. Now, this time around, Frieza would obviously not go to Vampa, or someone would not find Broly on Vampa, but they would probably find him on a different planet. At the end of the day, when you have such a massive power level, it is almost impossible to hide it. And even if Broly somehow learned insane control and be able to hide his power level, what would exactly be the point necessarily? He would never be given a good reason, and there would be time and time again that he would train and his power level would spark out of control, and people would recognize this. There would either be people that could sense ki or with scouters. So I could definitely see someone like Chile finding Broly just like the normal, and Broly deciding to actually go with them, maybe to check this out, because the main reason would be his father convincing him to actually see if King Vegeta or someone like Prince Vegeta is still alive. This doesn't mean Broly wants to kill them, but once he gets there and starts sensing the ill intent of the one and only Frieza, he definitely considers that this isn't the best place for him to be. But I can still see him kind of trucking along because of his father. He decides, you know what, I'm going to follow along with this little plan and whatever Frieza actually wants at this moment. And eventually he would learn that he wants the two Saiyans by the name of Vegeta and Goku dead. Now, when Broly arrives on Earth, this kind of battle happens a little differently. I could see Broly going head to head with Vegeta, but I'm gonna be honest, this isn't much of a competition. If Broly could actually control his rage and control it to the point that he doesn't really lose power throughout battle and actually gains power just like how he did when his rage got unstable, everybody there wouldn't stand a chance. Goku, Vegeta, they would all have no chance in absolute hell. Now, would a Gogeta stand a chance? Most likely. Gogeta would most likely still be way more powerful than Broly, and powerful enough to actually defeat him, just because Broly's never had proper training. Broly's never been or had a training partner very, very strong, just like him, that can go head to head with him and get really, really proper, Zenkais and proper just key training and everything you could possibly think of. Now, would he even go for the kill on Vegeta? Most likely not, in my opinion. Just for the sake that Broly being more clear-headed, he would actually listen to Goku and Vegeta, listening to the fact that he's actually not a bad guy and that Vegeta has changed drastically, saving the world and maybe even arguably the universe from time to time. And at the end of the day, with Broly's lack of rage, the manipulation that Paragus tries to uphold doesn't necessarily work. So Frieza, kind of as a last-ditch effort, will kill Paragus, killing Paragus right next to Broly, as he says that it was somehow a stray ki blast. But it's obvious that Broly is now not necessarily believing what Frieza is saying. Not believing that it was just some stray ki blast, as he flies over to his father as fast as possible, seeing a hole in his chest, something very condensed and small. Now, Broly might be innocent, might not be the smartest or the sharpest tool in the shed, but at the end of the day, Broly knows what a ki blast looks like, and his father was not blown up. It was a precision ki blast from a finger. He attacks Frieza and begins to beat on him badly. And even when Frieza transforms into his golden form, showing off the light of his golden aura, it wouldn't even be enough. We saw how badly Broly beat the living heck out of Frieza, and there would be no remorse here, especially after killing his father. Now, after this, I could see Frieza actually dying. Now, even if he doesn't die here and goes off, nothing really changes in the arc of Frieza. It's really what changes in the arc of Broly. Broly wouldn't go back to somewhere like Vampa. Now, even if he did, and that's where he was the entire time, I can see Broly actually deciding to stay with Goku and Vegeta, stay on Earth, or maybe even go back to the planet that they traveled to, something like Namek or Yardrat. But if we're talking about the end-all be-all, this version of Broly would be super powerful. We're talking about a Broly that is now in communications with both Goku and Vegeta. Now he will pursue strength with them, not just sit still and do nothing. And his availability to actually learn God Ki would be drastically higher, and probably could learn it just like how Goku and Vegeta could learn it in the original canon of Dragon Ball Super. So if Broly goes in, trains with someone like Whis, the greatest martial artist ever in the history of martial artists, learning how to utilize God Ki, well, we could see a Broly that is so super powered that no threat would even be in front of them. I would even say and remark to think that this version of Broly could even be trained to become the next god of destruction. Kind of fits the whole rage thing, don't you think? Having the god of destruction Ki, or what we know as Hakai. Now, with that type of energy, Broly would be insanely strong, and he, of course, isn't just unbridled rage, this crazy rage that he'll go insane and he won't stop raging and here and there, and nah, he's not like that in this version. He's actually controlled. He's actually able to control that rage, and in turn, utilizing the strength of a god of destruction, the strength of utilizing Hakai's, it would be easy peasy for Broly to absolutely become a god of destruction. But what happens when someone like Granola wishes to be the strongest? That's kind of where we get in a bit of a predicament, because I do believe Broly, Goku, and Vegeta would go over and face Granola, and eventually face the next threat that would wish for kind of being the strongest in the universe. But even with that said, Broly is shown to overcome hurdle after hurdle, and there is no version of this that I believe Broly couldn't overcome. And we all know that when you wish upon the dragon to become a certain strength, strongest in the universe, it shaves off years off your life, a lot of them as well. And I think Broly would be so powerful, including Goku and Vegeta would be drastically more powerful, that it could even make things drastically worse. Make it so that it's even harder to become the strongest in the universe via a wish, because you're sacrificing so much of your life. And it could be to the point that it's not even worth it, that the strength can't even be obtained via this dragon, via the Dragon Balls. Now, with all that said, Broly himself, if you made him so he could control his rage, the rage that makes him such a wild card in battle and such a wild card in the universe, if he could control it, he would be the strongest being in the universe, and he might even be able to transcend even more. But Let me know what you think. Do you think if Broly could control his rage, he would be one of the strongest, if not the strongest in the universe? Or maybe you even think he would eclipse many other universes as well? Where do you think he would fit best in the hierarchy? Do you think he would just be a regular Saiyan, kind of just be a Saiyan and just train, enjoy life? Or do you think he could become a God of Destruction? Could he actually follow the duties of God of Destruction, especially with his innocent mind and the way he acts? I would love to know what y'all think in the comment section below. I always read the comments about what y'all think this version of the character would actually do, or what version, or this version, what would occur, or what he could do, excuse me. And yeah, that's all I gotta say. I don't got much else to say in this regard, but I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like, leave a sub, and that's it. I hope y'all have an amazing day. Later.